Hello, everyone. Today we're going to read a book that belonged to Pawpaw when he was a little boy. It is quite old and has been repaired many times, but I think you will enjoy the story of this little train. It's called The Little Train That Won a Medal by Darlene Geis. The little blue train stood in the station waiting to start on his trip. Every so often, an impatient sigh of smoke puffed from his engine, and finally he tooted his whistle crossly. "Come on, let's go!" At that, the conductor shouted, "All aboard!" For he could see that the little blue train was restless. He waved his lantern to the engine. With a merry whistle and a mighty jerk, the little blue train started on his way. Now, on the same track that the little blue train had to use, there was a big new train called the Silver Streamliner. It was painted all in glittering silver so that when it sped by, it looked like a great flash of light. It was very beautiful to see. It had such a powerful engine that its smoke was black, and after the silver train had flashed by, there was always a little smudge of black smoke in the air. The children would wave to the silver streamliner, but it went past so swiftly that by the time they had raised their hands to wave, it was gone, and there was only the faint black smudge left to wave at. So they preferred the friendly little blue train, which wasn't in such a hurry. But the little blue train thought the silver streamliner was wonderful. He didn't mind having to get out of the way to wait on a side track when the streamliner passed. And this happened quite often because the speedy streamliner whizzed back and forth several times while the blue train was still making his first trip. The blue train always sighed and wished he could be a silver streamliner too someday. Rickety-rackety, clickety-clackety, the little blue train was going along the track, whistling a little tune, when he went around a curve of track and the whistle changed to a screech of surprise. For what do you think he saw? There on the track ahead was the mighty silver streamliner, and it was standing absolutely stock still. No one had ever seen it stop before, except in the station. The air above it was quite clear. There was no black smoke. There wasn't even any white smoke. Something was the matter. Very timidly, the little blue train chugged up to his hero to find out what was wrong. "Good morning, Mr. Streamliner," he said. "Is anything the matter?" The silver streamliner just sighed sadly. "Something is wrong with my engine and I can't move. Oh, what will I do? I'll be so late. I've never been late before, not ever in my whole life." By this time, a crowd of children had gathered around the two trains. Some of them touched the shiny silver streamliner. He paid no attention, but the little blue train smiled at them. "Perhaps I can help," offered the blue train. "I could run back to the station and bring someone to fix you." "Humph," snorted the streamliner. That would take you all day. You're so pokey." "I know," cried the little blue train at last. "I'll push you." "Ho, ho, ho," laughed the streamliner, and for the first time he looked at the children. "Did you hear what he said, children?" But the children didn't laugh. They thought it was a very good idea. The streamliner stopped laughing and he growled at the blue train. "Well, try to push me if you want to, but I don't think you can." The little blue train wasn't so sure he could either, but he had to try. So he started forward. Crash! He bumped into the streamliner, but he couldn't budge it, and he stopped too. "I guess you're right, Mr. Streamliner. I was silly to think I could push you." And the little blue train looked very sad. But the children all shouted, "Yes, you can, little blue train, yes, you can." And some of them went and got buckets of coal, and others brought buckets of water, and they filled the little blue train's engine in the right places with the coal and water, more than he had ever held before. "Now try, little blue train," they cried. The little blue train felt the coal and water making his engine strong, and he heard the voices of his friends cheering him on, and he tried again. He puffed a big cloud of white smoke, and he jerked forward and pushed and pushed. "Come on, little blue train, you can do it," cried the children, and even the streamliner said, "Come on, little blue train, maybe you can do it." The blue train chugged and chugged and pushed and pushed, and suddenly his white smoke turned to gray, and he moved a little. He chugged and pushed some more, and his gray smoke turned black, and presto, he was moving the streamliner. "Hooray!" shouted the children. "Hooray! Hooray!" shouted the streamliner. Clickety, clackety, rickety, rackety, the blue train pushed the streamliner. And they went pretty fast, too, because they didn't have to get out of the way for anybody. When they arrived at the station, the streamliner turned to the hot and weary blue train and said, "Many thanks, little friend. You have saved me from being terribly late. And that was the nicest ride I've ever had." Then suddenly he unscrewed the big silver disc on his side that spelled Streamliner in beautiful red letters. Someone in the crowd gave him some red ribbon, and he tied the disc around the little blue train smokestack like a medal, while the blue train blushed for joy. And now the little blue train rides through the countryside, puffing his round white clouds of smoke at the children. He still stops on a side track to let the silver streamliner speed past, and they whistle to each other now. But these days, when the little blue train chugs back on the main track, he goes clickety-clackety, rickety-rackety, clink-clank. That clink-clank is the metal banging on his engine, and it makes him feel just like a silver streamliner. Streamliner. The end. Thanks for reading about the little blue train with me today.